Let's be real, most brands treat CRO like a slot machine. You run a test, you get a little win, maybe a loss, and nothing feels consistent. That's why execs stop believing in CRO, because without a clear framework, it just feels like gambling with your landing pages. But here's the truth, CRO can be predictable, not just random bumps, but a system that compounds into millions in revenue. Imagine being able to forecast conversion gains the way you forecast ad spend. And today, I'm going to show you the CRO maturity model, the 5 stages every company goes through, and how to move from random wins to predictable growth. Stick around. Stage 4 is where brands feel unstoppable, but almost none make it to stage 5. I'm Idris from Clickaloo. We help D2C and B2C brands turn paid traffic into predictable revenue through smarter landing pages and conversion rate optimization. And one of the biggest frustrations I hear? We've tried CRO, but the results feel all over the place. This video fixes that. By the end, you'll know exactly what stage you're in and what to fix first. Stage 1, random wins. This is where most companies start. You run a button test, you swap a headline. Sometimes conversions go up, sometimes they don't. There's no prioritization, no reporting, no link to revenue. And here's the danger. Leadership sees CRO as a nice to have and not a growth driver. I'll never forget a brand I talked to. They told me proudly, we tested a red button versus a green button and it worked. Cool. But when the CFO asked, so what did that do to revenue? They had nothing. And that's when leadership tunes out. Stage 2 is tactical testing. Now we've got some structure. You're running consistent A/B tests, tools like Optimizely, VWO, or Convert. But here's the problem. Tests are still tactical. Little isolated changes with no bigger funnel strategy. The upside, you get more data. The downside, still no story for the exec team. CRO stays in the shadows. You think that things will get better from here, but usually they don't. The breakthrough comes from when testing connects directly to revenue. Now we're getting serious. You're not asking which button wins anymore. You're asking, how do we reduce cart abandonment? How do we increase order value? How do we support ad spend scaling? And now execs start listening because you're protecting their ad dollars. One client of ours stopped chasing page tweaks and only tested things tied to revenue leaks. That one shift unlocked $400,000 a year in extra sales. But to really get buy-in across departments, you need one big change, and most companies miss it. Stage 4 is the culture of experimentation. This is where CRO transforms into a habit. Decisions aren't made by gut feel in boardrooms. They're tested. Marketing asks, did we test this? Product asks, did we test this? Even leadership asks, you've got a pipeline of experiments. Prioritization frameworks like ICE or PXL. Reports that anyone can understand. Suddenly, interns can out-test execs. Opinions get replaced by outcomes. At this stage, CRO finally earns a seat at the growth table. Stage 5 is predictable growth. This is the top of the model. CRO isn't just running, it's scaling. You've got momentum loops. Insights from one test fuel the next. Your backlog is prioritized by ROI, and the business can literally forecast revenue from CRO. At this point, CRO is as predictable as your media buying. But here's the catch. Most companies still get one thing wrong even at stage 5. We'll get to that in a second. Instead of gambling for random wins, you built a machine for compounding growth. So where are you on this model? Most brands I meet are stuck in stage 2 or 3. They've dabbled in testing, maybe had a few wins, but they haven't built the structure that makes CRO predictable. That's the gap between CRO as an experiment and CRO as a revenue engine. And in the strategy calls we do, this is the #1 pattern. Smart teams, good intentions, but stuck in tactical testing. If you're a mid to large B2C or D2C brand spending serious money on ads and you're tired of living in random win land, this is exactly what we do at Clickaloo. We help brands graduate into predictable growth, tying every test back to revenue. If you want to see what that looks like for your team, book a CRO strategy call. The link's below.